Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we continue with exercise 2.7. Topic is compound interest. And we are now under number E and number F. Previous recording dealt with number A up to number D. Now we are under number E and number F. And there's something that reminded me of the previous question or requirement that I should have explained. But I'll also highlight that because here it is a bit different. Now it says the information below refers to question A to F. 1,850 was invested at 8% per annum compounded for the first 32 months, and then compounded. There's something that it must be missing here. That must have forgot to type. Let me just check it, because it should be clear if it's compounded monthly or is compounded to monthly. If not, that will not be a problem. This is on page 26 of your notes. Now we are required, says compounded for monthly. Then the next one is compounded 3 monthly. Okay, I don't know how I forgot to write such a big thing. Now the first one is compounded 4 monthly. So 8% per annum compounded 4 monthly. This is compounded 4 monthly for 32 months. Now if we say 32 divided by 4, we notice that this amount was compounded 8 times, or interest was earned 8 times. So then after it says, and then 8.5% per annum compounded 3 monthly for the next 1.5 years. So for 32 months, it was compounded 4 monthly at 8% per annum, compounded 4 monthly. And for the next 1.5 year, the interest rate changed to 8.5%, and the compounding period was 3 monthly, meaning quarterly. Remember, 4 monthly is 4, 8, 12. 3 monthly is 3, 6, 9, 12. So this was quarterly, and this was 4 monthly. Now let's continue on that same note. Then it says how much interest was earned over the period of the investment. How much interest was earned over the period of the investment. And this is what I said I want to explain in the previous recording. The interest here, but it's still good that I'm explaining it here. The interest here is earned over the period. This is very important word, over the period, meaning we're calculating interest from the day the investment was made up until the last day of the investment, or the focal date. But in the previous question, they said that we are to calculate the interest earned by the investment at the end of month 18, only for that period, which was from month 16 to month 18. If you remember that one, we calculated 21 Rand 54 cents, if my memory still serves me, in that question. So the interest was not from month 1 up until month 18. No, it was only for the last period, month 16 to month 18. They did not say for the period of the investment. However, in this question, they made it very clear that the interest is for the period of the investment, over the period of the investment, meaning from day 1 up until the last day of the investment, or the amount was invested. Then after, we are to compute the effective rate of interest. Take your answer to 3 decimal places, and take note that this is the effective rate of interest. So effective rate of the interest, it is the annual rate of the interest. It is the annual rate of the interest. Nominal rate, it is compounded monthly, 2 monthly, 3 monthly, 4 monthly, or 6 monthly. And those are the normally compounding period. It can be daily. If you in the crypto space, you are likely to experience the daily compound of the interest. Now, let us then go now to our number E. We are first required to calculate how much was earned over the period of this investment. Now we need to use the formula once again. We need to use the formula once again for these two investments that were compounded. If you are not wanting to use the formula, you can use the calculator. But I've used the formula very much in the previous question, so let me use the calculator in this one. So now we are under number E. Number E, we have the amount that was initially invested, which is 1,850 being the present value, and this amount earned interest for 32 months. Yes, it was for 32 months. 32 will be 32 divided by 4. Why am I dividing by 4? Because I added and told you that it was compounded for monthly. It was compounded for monthly. Now, if it was compounded for monthly, then I need to say how many 4 months do we have in 32 months. So that will be, as calculated previously, that will be 8 times. 32 divided by 4, that will be 8 times. Then after we say our interest was 8%, divide by 3. Why am I dividing by 3? Because there are 4 months in 12 months, or 4 goes 3 times in 12. In simple terms, you can say 12 divided by 4, then that will give you 3, meaning interest will be compounded 3 times in a year. Then after we compute the future value of this amount, then the future value of this amount, then I'll use again my calculator. We'll say plus minus 1,850 is our present value. Press PV. 8 is our N, which is 32 over 4. Press N. 8 divided by 3. You press I, then compute future value. Our future value is 2,283 Rand 53 cents. So now this is the future value at the end of the 32nd month. Now this future value becomes the present value because this amount was reinvested at a different rate of interest. It was reinvested but at a different rate of interest with a different frequency of the compounding, which is 3 monthly. Then now we will have plus minus 2,283 Rand 53 cents is our present value. And you'll see these questions, guys, in the future question that I've already recorded, because this recording is in 2021. The other recordings are in 2020, the most of them. Then after we have the our N, remember our N is 1.5. Our N is 1.5 years, which is 1.5 years. If we want now, we can say 1.5 times by the number of times the interest was compounded in a year, which is 4 times. That will be times by 4. It will be 1.5 times by 4, which is 6 times in 1.5 years. Then after we can say now 1.5 years, it is 12 plus 6, which is 18 months. If we decide, we can say 18 divided by 3 because the quarter has 3 months. Then we can say 18 months divided by 3, we still get 6. It doesn't matter which one you choose. At the end of the day, your N has to be 6. Then after we say our interest is 8.5 divided by 4, because our interest is compounded 3 monthly. How many 3 months do we have in 12 months? Then that will be 12 divided by 3. They should be giving you 4. So that's why we multiplied by 4 there. Here we divided by 4. Then after we compute our future value, we compute our future value. Then now what do we do? Clear the calculator. Don't forget second function alpha 00. Second function alpha 00 to clear your calculator. We say plus minus 2,283 rand 53 cents is the present value. 6 you press N, or you can say 18 divided by 3, then you press N. 8.5 divided by 4, you press I, then we compute our future value. Our future value is 2,590 rand 59 cents. 2,590 rand 59 cents. So this is our future value. Future value after 1.5 years, after 32 days, or after 32 months and after 1.5 years. You can add those two and get your total period of the investment. Then now the interest that is earned on this investment will be the future value 2,590 rand 59 cents minus the initial investment of 1,850, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 1,850. That means the interest that is earned over the period of the investment will be minus 1,850 rands, and the interest will be 740 rands 59 cents. After how long? After 18 months plus 32 months. 50 months divided by 12. 4 years and a couple of months, we get 740. Wow. I'm not there, but there are investments that can give better return than the traditional investment, which is the crypto space. But I'm not there. Then let us continue now to the second requirement of this question. Then let us go to number F. Number F says compute the effective rate of interest. Remember, the 8.5% was compounded for months. Sorry, the 8% per annum was compounded 4 monthly, and the 8.5% was compounded 3 monthly. So if you wanted to do what we did previously, but it was not necessary, you could have said here divide by 4. It will give you interest rate per quarter. Interest rate per quarter. Then if you divided this by 3, this will give you interest rate per 4 month, meaning per 4 month that will be the interest rate that will be earning from the capital that you have at the end of the previous period or previous compounding period. But I'm not there. I'm just reminding you of what I did previously, where we had 1.5833333333. That is what I'm talking about. Now, thank you very much for that. Then let me continue calculating the effective rate of interest under number F. Under number F, we say what do we have? We have the present value and the future value. So now we earned interest for 50 months. I do not know that I'll need this 50 months. We earned interest for 32 months plus 18 months, which is 50 months. So we need to calculate the annual rate of interest, meaning our N must be in years so that our interest will be in years. Then we go to number F. Number F, then after we say plus minus 1,850 was the present value initially invested. Then after 50 months, we had an amount of 2,590 rand 59 cents, which is our future value after 50 months. Then after we need to say our N was 50 month. 50 month was made of 32 plus 18 months. Remember, 18 month was 1.5 years, 1.5 years. So the total that we have invested this amount was for 50 months. But now we need to divide this by 12. Remember, why are we dividing it by 12? Because one might be saying but we had two different compounding. Another one was 4 months, another one was 4 monthly, another one was 3 monthly. So which one are we choosing? Remember, the requirement is to compute the effective rate of the interest, meaning the interest for the year, not the one that is compounded monthly or 3 monthly or 4 monthly, the annual rate of the interest. It is not the 8%, it is not the 8.5%. So now we are calculating how much was the annual rate of interest. If this company or this person invested 8% for 4 months, 32 for compounded 4 monthly for 32 months, then after 8.5% compounded 3 monthly for the next 1.5 years. So how much was the annual rate of interest, meaning interest compounded once a year? So now when we do that, we know that our I must be equal to N in terms of the period. Our I must be equal to N in terms of the period, or our N must be equal to I in terms of the period. That means the period of I and N must be the same. So in this case, we are looking for the annual rate, meaning our N must be in years. That is why we say 50 divided by 12. This will give us 4.1 something years. So now we are converting month into years, not based on the compounding frequency of our interest that was given to us, 4 month and 3 monthly. So our N is in years. So the minute our N is in years, then the interest that we'll be calculating will also be in years. Our N is number of years. Our N will be number of years. That is why we said 50 divided by 12. So we say compute interest. Now because our period of N is in years, then our interest will be in years. So we don't have to multiply, because the period of N and the period of N is in years, then automatically your answer of I will be also in years. Then after, let us then now do that. Then we say plus minus 1,850 is the present value, 2,590.59 is the future value, 50 divided by 12, which is our N, then you compute our interest. Our interest is in years because our N is in years. Please take note of this. Our interest is in years because our N is in years. So we get 8.416271992% per annum. We stop there. We don't say compounded monthly, because this is per annum. It is not compounded monthly or 3 monthly or 4 monthly. Now with that, guys, being said, I have covered the second part of example 2.7. And remember, I've just taken all the decimals because there was no specifics in terms of the rounding off. But when you are required to round off to 2 decimal places, please do so accordingly. With that, guys, thank you very much. I'm heading now, or looking forward to the next part of the questions, which are G, H, I, and J. The following information is in regards to question G, H, I, and J. So that's where we're going. Let us meet in the next question. You've been lovely once again. Thank you very much.